This video reflects the spirit of exploring that animates the Kentucky Cycling Project, which includes the desire to explore new places with the special passion of highlighting trails here in my own backyard here in Kentucky. If you're like me and you're visiting a new place or just looking for a new place to explore in your area, you might look on a website or an app like mtbproject.com when looking to identify a trail close to you. Lots of times there are highly rated trails complete with pictures and lots of reviews, and so you get a decent sense of what you're getting yourself into before your tires even hit the trail. Other times there might be an area that's been identified as a place to ride with no pictures and very few reviews. REI has done us all a great service by giving us a starting point on lots of potentially awesome places to ride around the state. But how good is the information if we don't have riders who are willing to go out and document their experiences so the rest of us can benefit? Having just recently made my first contribution to MTB Project, I wanted to get out and experience a little ridden section of trail and be able to report back about my experience in hopes that others might follow suit. One resource that we are very fortunate to have here in Kentucky is the Sheltowee Trace National Recreation Trail. Many Kentucky mountain bikers are familiar with sections around Laurel and Cave Run lakes, but what about other sections of the trail? Looking for a ride this past weekend, I found Sheltowee Trace National Recreation Trail Section 21, which was only about a 20-minute drive from where I was staying east of Berea, just down the road in Jackson County. In looking at the page dedicated to this section of trail on MTB Project, here's what I thought I knew about the trail going into it. Easy to intermediate double-track trail with a little over 300 foot of elevation in one direction, with an average grade of 2% that followed along the road to a campground and had some beautiful creek crossings. At 9.7 miles long, I had visions of pedaling along a gently sloping fire road as an out and back for a total of 20 miles that we could easily knock out in a couple of hours. Hey guys, so we've actually just followed the directions in the Mountain Bike Project app, and it took us about a tenth of a mile up this S-Tree campground road, but we went a little bit further because we didn't see any place to park there, and we came across actually a vehicle with a bike rack on it, which is we thought was a good sign, and then this road, which we think probably just goes over and meets up with the Sheltowee Trace. So we're parking here and moving forward.
I'm hoping it'll be fairly obvious. If not, we'll need to look at the map here.
Okay, so from the parking area, if you come down this hill, it's easy to miss, but there is the Sheltowee Trace Trail.
Man, this is going to be interesting getting up.
In the spirit of full disclosure, I'll share that the first downhill section was not at all what I was expecting to find based upon the information available to me on the site. The combination of sandy soil with lots of loose rocks and lots of erosion that had created a ravine with some significant drops was a lot more technical terrain than I thought we'd find. I took it way too fast for my skill level, and I did a partial endo on one of the drops and came down hard, bruising my ribs. But I decided to keep riding, not realizing until later when bruising started to set in the extent of my injury.
This is what I thought it's going to be like. Yeah, right.
Even without the pain that was building in my side, this climb was probably one of the most technical of my entire riding experience. Well, what we were able to climb of it anyway. The combination of sand and loose rocks was no joke.
All this loose rocky. Yeah, oh yeah. I'd love to see somebody do it. Yeah. Yeah, but I think this trail is pretty grossly mislabeled. I mean, it says beginner or intermediate, and I would say it's intermediate to advanced.
As we reached the top and started riding along the ridge, we noticed that they've cleared the loose rocks and started putting some concrete pavers down on the trail, which made for a totally different riding experience than what we had experienced up until this point. The trail was much more fun to ride in this section, and had we started at the next point where the trail met up with the road, I'm sure our overall impression of the trail would have been very different. But by this point, I'd already decided that I was in too much pain to consider riding back the way we came, so we decided that we would take the gravel road on the way back. We got off the trail and onto the gravel S Tree Road and noted that we were only a half mile from S Tree Campground, so we decided to take a ride up and check it out before making our way back to the car. Riding on a lightly traveled gravel road like this one is fun in its own right and offered some beautiful scenery, so it was nice to have an excuse to get to ride on one. So what's the takeaway from this experience? Well, I hope that some of you might feel inspired to check out some of the rides on mtbproject.com where little or no people have ridden. Then, go out and ride, post a review and some pics. By the time this video hits the YouTube channel, I will have submitted a review and pictures from our ride on there as well. This ride was certainly an adventure. Despite my fall, I'm glad that I did it. You never know what you're going to find in a situation like this, and I'm glad to help provide a more accurate picture of what this trail entails. I have to also admit that I have a renewed appreciation for all the work that goes into mountain bike specific trail systems, and once I heal up a bit, I look forward to riding on some super flowy section of trail at a Kentucky trail system in the near future.
As always, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks!